basically, I'm just thinking because there'd be a lot of people out there right now that, you know, are thinking, holy shit, I'm in a job. I don't like it. I'd love to change.
That's it. It is.
But
It's not as hard.
But what are those? But what are those steps though? So like someone listening right now in the car or they're on the job site listening to it, like what can they do to see if change is needed, or is it something just internal, like going to their boss and saying, hey, look, I've got some ideas. Like that's probably something I should have done. I didn't do it. You know what I mean? But it's like, hey, I've got some ideas I want to start doing. You know what I mean?
So the first thing is I think you actually have to put your big pants on. And you have to accept that if you are not excited about what you're doing, or if you're being mistreated, or if the job that finished, you sort of know in your gut, this isn't really what I wanted to do. This is a really great time. There are so many free opportunities at the moment for you to do some additional training, to prepare for when you do go back, to trial some stuff. But all the people that are really sick, that have really been doing it too long, or have been impacted in some way mentally, and they're actually not well, and their family or their best mates will know because they're not as excited as they used to be, they've got some wrong thinking, or they're really down more than they're up. You know what the easiest thing, actually it's just dawned on me, the easiest thing is roll up a page and put 0 in the middle of the page, make it a grid, or for all those people that are into computers, and put up to 10 in relation to degrees of happiness, and 0 is neutral, and then down to -10. And then a couple of times a day, just stop and measure where you're at. So, and put words next to that. I'll put something on my website, Passions and Profits, which you can just use as a template. It's not our ingenious idea, but it's often called a mood measure or an emotional measure. Start to try and recognise where you're at. And then if you're not happy about the job, or your family say you're not happy, or you're spending less time with the kids, or your kids are reacting and being a bit careful as to how to treat you, or your partner when you're coming home, and you're not energised by your job, they're all signs. Maybe you need to start doing a bit of a checklist. I have put a program together because there wasn't one around. And I had lots of people that weren't used to doing PD, personal development for themselves. They're used to doing it about their trade or their job or whatever else. But over the years, I just had people that were in denial and didn't know how to recognise it. So I just put something really simple together. It's not, you know.
It's just such a reoccurring theme in all the podcasts and all the people that we have in, and you know, people talking about change, but it all comes back to just stopping.
It does.
All comes back to just
stopping. But
I
have a strong opinion on this, that I've worked since I was 13 years old, and I never thought, you know, and it's taken me through all sorts of jobs, careers. I never knew what I wanted to do. I just kept making decisions at the time, thinking, oh yeah, this is the right next step, this is the right next decision. Moved interstate, did all this sort of stuff, you know. And as I was saying,
but your moods through then would
even with the car
in the right spot though.
Well, what I was going to say was I always turned up to work, as I said earlier, with like I was supposed to be there, like I had a purpose. But I also believed that whatever job I was doing at the time was a stepping stone to take me to where I was ultimately supposed to be and to become.
Without knowing it.
I didn't know what that was. I never knew what that was. It took one of my best mates to take his own life to completely turn my world upside down again, and build an unlikely relationship with a bloke who I just shouldn't have met. You know what I mean? Like the way that we came together was ridiculous.
Can you get this expression in the? Just cut that in.
And suddenly it comes together. But I think I did.
It was defined, but the thing was, people, you need to fall forward.
Yeah.
You kept falling forward. You weren't stopped. You weren't digging yourself down. I think to people recognising, or people around them who care about them will often recognise before the person that this is not a happy match. And if you recognise frilly behaviour, you know, are they hiding behind something, or are they pretending everything's okay, it's all great, but they're really bluffing, or they're mistreating people because really inside, you know, people that are not looking after their team, it's not always ignorance. Sometimes it's they're frilly themselves. They're super scared, but they don't know any other reaction. And that's something that's, look, there's lots of psychs out there and there's lots of mental health people as specialists, but in the end I just tried to use simple language and talk to people from the heart and give them an opportunity to say what they think in a safe space. And out of that was a privilege, but also too it meant that we as a partner, in the fact that they were honest to me and I allowed them to say whatever they wanted, we could then work towards a direction, whether that was in the organisation they were in or whether they need to have some time off. You know, we've got to look after each other, and if nothing else, surely COVID-19 has actually sisters, we're in this together. And a rainbow is no good if it's got a colour missing. So we all need to actually work together.